Oceans play an important role for people around the world as a means of transportation and trade. Today, ships carry more goods than people. Around 90% of world trade is carried by the international shipping industry. In India, seaports contribute to 70% of all cargo traffic. With the increase in maritime trade around the globe, a powerful futuristic port was envisioned on the east coast of India. Though relatively new in terms of its operations, it has a legacy that dates back to the 12th century. This port is set to create history once again by redefining India's maritime landscape. This is Krishnapatnam Port. A modern, deep-water, high-productivity, all-weather port operating 24/7, 365 days a year. Krishnapatnam Port is one of the only few ports in the country that can handle super Cape-size vessels. It is determined to become the largest port in India. Meet the people who work round the clock to make this dream a reality. Ships are vital to worldwide trade. They are the pack mules of the global economy. Ports play a key role and port towns have become trade capitals. New York, London, Rotterdam, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Singapore, Busan and Mumbai, to name a few. Currently, 7 out of the top 10 busiest ports in the world are in China. And these ports have played an essential role in making China an economic superpower. The Indian coastline has several ports, 12 major or government-owned and 200 minor or state-owned privately run ports. All put together, they handle over 900 million tons of cargo annually. Krishnapatnam Port, located in the Nellore district of Andhra Pradesh's coastline, is 180 kilometers north of Chennai. Despite being around for 8 years, Krishnapatnam Port is fast becoming one of the largest gateways for trade on the east coast of India.
What if Krishnapatnam was not there? What would have happened to this cargo which we are doing it? Because none of the ports you could be Haldia, you could be Chennai, Tuticorin, none of them have any dip in their cargo after we've come. That means we've added so much.
Trade used to be between India and Middle East, India and Europe and India and America. So western ports, that means ports which are lying on the western part of India, were playing a major role. Today, because of the Look East policy, India is looking more towards east and eastern nations like Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Japan, China. So because of that, the role of ports on the eastern part of India, that is the eastern ports, are going to be very, very important. And on the east coast, KPCL is playing a very important role.
Krishnapatnam has played an important role even in the past. Known for its paddy fields and fishing boats, Krishnapatnam was a small village town. The people who lived around this place were either fishermen or farmers. Historic evidence suggests Krishnapatnam was traditionally involved in maritime trade. Inscriptions discovered in a Shiva temple dating back to the 12th century mention the village being used for trading sandalwood. Krishnapatnam was also used as a port by the Vijayanagar Emperor Sri Krishnadevaraya. It is said that he used it to import horses and elephants. The village is said to be named after him. Under the British rule, Chennai port was developed. They used the Buckingham Canal, which connects Chennai in the south to the Krishna River Delta in the north, as an intermodal inland waterway. The canal exists even to date, passing through the Krishnapatnam Port.
Father first came here, he saw a building which is about 110 years old, which is built by a Britisher called Sir Buckingham, who built this canal along from Chennai to Kakinada, I guess. Building was so intact, and he saw if this building is intact, so he felt that okay, this have to be something looked at.
C. Vishveshwara Rao, chairman of the CVR Group, has over 30 years of experience working on port projects. He immediately saw the potential of Krishnapatnam becoming a futuristic port. One of the critical factors is the natural protection the port has from cyclones that the east coast of India is otherwise prone to. A dent in the coastline and further inland location of Krishnapatnam makes it an ideal location for a port. Krishnapatnam Port was reborn and declared a minor port by the Government of India in 1980.
Natco Pharma were already working on this port, and they already had a concession agreement with the Andhra government way back in '98. So when my father actually saw this port to do as a contractor, when he first sat down with the master plan, which is already kind of little developed by Natco people, took a pencil and kept drawing on the master plan. Finally it turned out to be 42 berths, and which could be the India's largest port.
This ambitious plan could be drafted because Chairman C.V. Rao and the CVR Group had years of experience in mammoth infrastructural projects such as bridges and marine works. They had the machinery and the expertise that was required to execute such projects. Once Natco Pharma backed out, Navyuga Engineering Company, flagship concern of the CVR Group, stepped in to first develop the infrastructure and then take on operations.
The moment we took over, very quickly we worked on this master plan and went to AP government. AP government immediately recognized, felt very good and said that, okay, yes, we're going to develop this as India's largest port.
CVR Group and the Andhra government's Build, Operate, Share Transfer Concession Agreement was the beginning of development of Krishnapatnam Port. Works began in 2006.
Within 18 months, we finished the construction of the breakwater, which is the largest breakwaters in the country, and we dredged up to 13.5 meters. The depth was only about 1 meter. We have to move all the fishermen villages, so we built about 500 houses for the fishermen and 3 berths. All this we completed in 18 months.
The vision of becoming India's largest port can only become a reality with the help of its people who work here. Like Venugopal Rao, the oldest employee at Krishnapatnam Port. He has seen and been a part of the transformation of Krishnapatnam from a small village to a modern port. On April 18, 2008, Krishnapatnam Port berthed her first ship, which was also on its maiden journey, carrying the first set of cranes to be set up at the port.
A brand new ship kuda ee port ki vachindi. Aa ship berth ki kattatam jarigindi. Immediately మా ఎండి గారు నాకు కాల్ చేయడం జరిగింది. కాల్ చేసి నీ ఆలోచనలు నువ్వు అనుకున్నది జరిగింది, ఇక్కడ షిప్ వచ్చి అలాంగ్ సైడ్ ఆఫ్ ది బెర్త్ వచ్చింది, నాన్నగారితో మాట్లాడినాక సెకండ్ కాల్ నీకే చేశానని చెప్పి మా ఎండి గారు నాకు చెప్పడం జరిగింది. అది నా జీవితంలో మర్చిపోని రోజు.
It was a first for everybody. Not having any experience in the port, it's not easy to get that kind of an opportunity or experience, like opening a port for the first time.
For Krishnapatnam Port, the future was promising. But a challenge was about to come its way. How the port rose to the occasion is coming up after the break. This is the story of Krishnapatnam Port, one of the youngest yet fastest growing ports in India. A historical seaport on the east coast, it has been a prosperous centre of trade and commerce for centuries. During its first phase, Krishnapatnam Port had already exceeded expectations. Initially developed with a 25 million ton handling capacity, by 2010 it had surpassed most of the government-run ports in dry bulk cargo handling. A total of 16.13 million metric tons of cargo, with coal at 3.8 million tons and iron ore at 10.6 million tons, an essential commodity for Indian industry as well as for the port.
Iron ore is such an easy commodity to handle it. That actually helped us also to build up fast because it was easy to handle it. So 2008 when we started off, we did 8 million tons, which is also probably record break. No port in the world. First year did 8 million. And second year we did 16 million. So double. And third year we did only, the iron ore started stopping and banned. So we did, the third year we did only 5 million tons of iron ore out of 16 million.
In 2010, Krishnapatnam Port took a beating in its performance due to the iron ore ban. Faced by its first crisis, they strategized and quickly bounced back with a recovery. And thus they expanded their scope of operations, altering their business plans. Under the guidance of the MD C. Sasidhar and his team, headed by CEO Anil Yengluri, the port is equipped to handle multiple cargoes such as coal, maize, fertilizer, edible oil and containers. There has been no turning back since. At the everyday operations meeting each morning, tasks are faced head-on. Today, a Cape-size vessel is coming into the port.
Motor vessel Q1 Krishnapatnam Port, please come in.
Krishnapatnam Port control. Krishnapatnam Port control. This is motor vessel Q Anastasia. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, Captain. For your information, your berthing is confirmed, and pilot will board your vessel at 1500 hours local time. Over.
Port control, one thing is confirmed. Pilot boarding 1500 local time. Port control, Dinesh.
Devesh, port control.
Sir, pilots are on board. We are crossing from jetty now.
Thank you, Devesh. Pilots are boarded and proceeding for inward vessel. Thank you.
This is motor vessel Q Anastasia, a Cape-sized vessel from Indonesia carrying nearly 180,000 tons of iron ore. A Cape-sized ship is one of the largest ships in the world. These deep draft vessels are too large to go through the Suez or Panama canals, and these bulk cargo ships have to pass either the Cape of Good Hope or Cape Horn to traverse between oceans.
Krishnapatnam Port has been a futuristic port. We are handling these Cape-size vessels since 2009. We are continuously striving to handle bigger and bigger vessels, which is resulting in bringing the economies of scale for the Indian trade.
For a ship the size of Q Anastasia to berth at Krishnapatnam Port, it requires to have sufficient depth, wide clearances, a wide turning circle, as well as breakwater length and high-capacity tug boats. Breakwaters are structures constructed on coasts to create a tranquil harbour for ships to dock safely. Krishnapatnam has one of the longest breakwaters in the country. However, they can also trap sediment, which reduces depth. In order to ensure that the depth of the port is maintained, Krishnapatnam Port puts one of its 5 dredgers into action. A dredger scrapes sediments and disposes them to a different location. This creates the necessary depth for large vessels to come into Krishnapatnam Port.
The depth of the Krishnapatnam Port is 20.5 meters right now, and the maximum draft what we handle is 18.5 meter, which is suitable for handling the fully loaded cape-size vessels up to 200,000 tons deadweight capacity.
The Q Anastasia has been berthed safely in one of Krishnapatnam Port's 10 multi-purpose operational berths, which are 300 meters in length and can fit up to 14 vessels currently. A 2,950-meter wharf, each of these berths has a load-bearing capacity of 12 million tons per square meter, which is the highest for any port in India. Now, it is time to unload motor vessel Q Anastasia's cargo. Unloading iron ore from the ship in a time-efficient manner requires sophisticated machinery and super-sized cranes. This is one of 12 mobile harbour cranes at the port.
मेरा नाम दिनेश राय है। मैं कृष्णापट्टनम पोर्ट में सीनियर क्रेन ऑपरेटर हूँ, हार्बर मोबाइल क्रेन का। मैं कृष्णापट्टनम पोर्ट में पिछले 6 साल से 2009 से काम कर रहा हूँ। हार्बर मोबाइल क्रेन से हम लोग हर रोज एक साइकिल में 50 टन 45 टन भी निकालते हैं। एक दिन में 12 घंटा में 10,000 टन निकालते हैं। पहली बार क्रेन में बैठे थे तो अच्छा भी लग रहा था, अंदर से डर भी लग रहा था। अभी बिल्कुल डर नहीं, मन से बिल्कुल डर निकल गया। अभी काफ़ी डर नहीं लगता है सब काम करने से।
Krishnapatnam Port's capacity to handle large parcels of bulk cargo is the best in the country. In 2011, the port handled 1,22,247 metric tons in a day of non-coking coal and set a Limca Book of Record. Krishnapatnam Port handles varied bulk cargo, maize, granite and fertilizer amongst others. But of these, one of the most important in terms of sheer quantity is coal. Coming up after the break, determined to reach even greater heights, Krishnapatnam Port has taken on operations that are comparable to some of the biggest ports in the world. This is the story of Krishnapatnam Port, a deep draft high-capacity port of the future. It took on challenges head-on and has emerged as one of the fastest-growing ports in India, which handles 1.5 lakh tons of cargo on a daily basis. Coal is the largest import at Krishnapatnam Port. Almost 65% of the cargo handled here. In 2013 to 14, the port handled close to 30 million tons of coal imports.
We are one of the largest coal producing countries in the world. Still, we need a lot of coal for our thermal power generation. As a result, India started importing a lot of coal, especially from countries like Indonesia, South Africa, Australia and various other countries too. Coal comes in huge bulk volumes. Previously, India used to import through vessels of the size of 40,000-50,000. Now, with the advent of Krishnapatnam Port, we have vessels to the tune of 200,000 tons coming and bringing coal, which saves a lot of money to the importer as well as to the power generator.
Once the coal is taken off the vessel with the help of these massive ship unloader cranes, it is stored in the port's 500-acre coal yard, which has a storage capacity of 3 million metric tons. From here, part of it is taken to the thermal power plants in the vicinity, and the rest is loaded onto rakes and trucks for transporting further inland.
నా పేరు జీవి సురేష్. నేను కృష్ణపట్నం పోర్ట్లో గత 5 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి ఓల్వో ట్రక్ డ్రైవర్గా పనిచేస్తున్నాను. మేము కృష్ణపట్నం పోర్ట్ నుంచి చుట్టుపక్కల ఉన్న పవర్ ప్లాంట్లకి డైలీ 4-5 ట్రిప్పులు కోళ్ళు సప్లై చేస్తూ ఉంటాం. మార్నింగ్ 6 o'clock డ్యూటీకి వచ్చిన తర్వాత వెహికల్ మా హ్యాండ్ ఓవర్ చేసుకుంటాం. తర్వాత ఫస్ట్ ఎంటీ వెహికల్ పేమెంట్ వేస్తాము. చేసిన తర్వాత కోల్ యార్డ్లోకి వచ్చేసి లోడ్ చేసుకుంటాము. కోల్ యార్డ్ సూపర్వైజర్ దగ్గర స్లిప్ రాయించుకొని స్లిప్ తీసుకెళ్తాం. పేమెంట్ చేసిన తర్వాత అవుట్ RFID కొట్టిస్తాం. ప్లాంట్కి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత అక్కడ అన్లోడింగ్ తర్వాత అవుట్ RFID అక్కడ ఒకటి కొట్టిస్తాం. అక్కడ పేమెంట్ చేసి అన్లోడ్ చేసి తిరిగి మళ్ళీ కృష్ణపట్నం పోర్ట్కి వచ్చేస్తాం.
Between 4 to 5 lakh tons of coal is intercarted daily at Krishnapatnam Port. All cargo operations are under constant surveillance of CCTVs, GPS and RFID or radio frequency identification systems. These can track the movements of the vehicles, ensuring efficiency and security. There are 7 thermal power plants in the immediate vicinity of Krishnapatnam Port. These plants supply power to Andhra Pradesh and other neighbouring states. One of the major plants around Krishnapatnam Port is Thermal Power Tech Corporation India Limited or TPCIL, which has 2 units of 660 megawatt capacities each.
It is an advantage to have port near to the thermal plant to receive coal without much problems. This TPCIL per unit we need around 9,000 tons of coal per day to produce power, and when both the units are operational we need around 18,000 tons of coal per day, and the requirement of coal transportation from Krishnapatnam Port can be transported within 5 days for the entire ship.
A ship carries 75,000 to 100,000 tons of coal. For the smooth transportation of such huge volumes in the future, the port is working on conveyor belt systems that will serve as a direct line between the coal yard and the thermal power plants, cutting down on logistical costs, ensuring maximum quantity with negligible handling loss, and keeping the quality intact at the same time being more eco-friendly. Another major operation at Krishnapatnam Port is the container terminal. Still only in phase 1 of development, the facilities at KPCT are capable of handling up to 1.2 million TEUs per annum. In 2014, the first year of its operations, the terminal handled over 58,000 20-foot equivalent units or TEUs, which is the measurement of a standard container.
The biggest vessel that is calling currently on the entire east coast and also the Krishnapatnam port is a 4,500 TEU vessel, which means it can carry 4,500 boxes. The world has moved on to a vessel which is now 19,000 TEU vessel. No other port in India can handle such kind of a vessel. It's only Krishnapatnam port because its deep draft of 18.5 meters. These superposed Panamax key cranes has an outreach of 22 rows across, and our space we can handle this 19,000 TEU vessel. So that makes the Krishnapatnam port as the port of call for all this, the largest vessel in the world.
The container terminal at Krishnapatnam Port is equipped with state-of-art machinery like the 5 superposed Panamax key cranes, which can make 35 moves per hour but have reached up to a record of 48.6 moves per hour. The 60-acre container yard with an on-dock railway siding, 2 dedicated berths of 650 meters each, allow the port to dock large vessels carrying up to 8,000 containers, making Krishnapatnam a preferred port of calling for shipping companies.
So once our container terminal at Krishnapatnam Port was up and running, about 2 years back, we started approaching shipping lines to bring their vessels and provide services at the port. And shipping lines were both intrigued and excited at the mammoth infrastructure that we have at Krishnapatnam Port, especially against the historical backdrop of ports on the east coast of India, which have poor connectivity, inadequate equipment, and resultant congestion.
We've been calling Krishnapatnam now on a regular basis, every 2 weeks with our Chennai Express service since 2013. And ever since we started this call, we've seen a good development of the volumes. This is clearly thanks also to the port of Krishnapatnam, which has been very active in helping the community and helping us to find solutions and develop the volumes throughout this port.
When we saw the potential at Krishnapatnam, as congestion had come into Chennai, and we took favorable result of calling Krishnapatnam and got very favorable volumes from there. The shippers from that region found it very economical and advantageous to them to move through Krishnapatnam.
With expansion plans on the container terminal already underway, in the final phase handling capacities are expected to go up to 6 million TEUs per annum. Working round the clock, Krishnapatnam Port is well on the track of becoming one of the biggest and finest import-export hubs in South Asia. To become an import-export hub, connectivity is key, and Krishnapatnam Port has an extensive rail and road network that connects the port to the hinterland. Coming up after the break. This is the story of Krishnapatnam Port, a high-capacity deep draft port with a 500-acre coal yard and a container terminal, which is comparable to the biggest ports in the world. Krishnapatnam Port is equipped to handle a massive amount of cargo, making it an important hub of import and export activity. The port relies on its superior connectivity for its efficient handling and distribution of goods.
Krishnapatnam Port has the best road and rail connectivity amongst all the ports in the country today. For example, on the road side, we are handling something like 1,500 trucks every day carrying cargo in and out of the port. And we also are catering to deeper hinterland cargo through rail, and we are handling something like 20 rakes a day.
The road and rail systems provide seamless movement of cargo from the port to the hinterland. The hinterland is a 350-kilometer area around the port, which includes parts of southern Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Rayalaseema, eastern Karnataka, northern Tamil Nadu, and eastern Maharashtra. This connectivity is a huge boost to the economic prosperity of the region.
We have a dedicated 4-lane road connecting the National Highway 5 between Kolkata and Chennai to the port to the extent of 24 kilometers, and we have the option of expanding this road to 6-lane and subsequently to 8-lane.
Krishnapatnam Port also has an extensive railway network. A dedicated 19-kilometer railway line connects the port to the Chennai-Kolkata main line. Over 20 rakes come into Krishnapatnam Port every day. This can go up to 60 trains per day. Inside the port, a 50-kilometer rail network with 17 railway sidings goes up to the container yard further into the port to unload and load cargo.
इतना बड़ा पोर्ट में कभी काम नहीं किया, 1 साल से इसमें काम कर रहा हूँ। पिटरकुंटा हेडक्वार्टर, तो कृष्णापट्टनम पोर्ट से NEC 5 लास्ट इधर आते हैं, हफ्ते में 2 बार इधर आता हूँ। एम्प्टी गाड़ी लेके आते हैं, इधर से कोयल, आयरन और कभी-कभी फर्टिलाइजर्स वगैरह वो लेके जाते हैं इधर से। 60 वैगन होता है टोटल इसमें, तो टोटल वैगन में वेट इसका 5000 से अबव होता है, 5000 या 4000 इतना होता है उसमें। इंडियन रेलवे को काफ़ी बेनिफिट है इससे। वो हम इंडियन रेलवे के लिए काम करते हैं तो इंडियन रेलवे को बेनिफिट हमको है।
We have an SPV formed to give the rail connectivity. It's called Krishnapatnam Rail Company, in which Indian Railways, the government of AP, Krishnapatnam Port and NMDC have major stakes.
Krishnapatnam Port is the real icing on the cake for South Central Railway. If we compare the two periods, say for example April to January last year compared to April to January this year, you'll be very happy to know that we have earned almost 2,000 crores plus compared to the last year. It's a major boost. Our earnings are almost 22% higher compared to the last year. It's a wonderful marriage, if I can say, which has happened and which has given us a lot of benefit.
Krishnapatnam Port covers an area of 6,800 acres, so storage space is plenty. Within the port premises, currently there is 2 million square feet of covered warehouse space, which is 13 warehouses, each of which can store up to 5 lakh million tons of cargo, allowing for faster on-ground operations. These are used as storage units for agricultural products as well as urea or fertilizer. Urea is one of Krishnapatnam Port's largest imports. In 2011, it created a record by discharging over 35,000 metric tons in just 24 hours. Along with storing it, the port also provides provision for packaging fertilizer, making it easier for transportation. The sacks used for packaging the urea are manufactured at an ancillary unit in the vicinity of the port. There are other small industries and ancillary units like thermal power plants and edible oil. Krishnapatnam Port has become a hub for edible oil. The factories on the periphery of the port save on logistical costs as the port has an underground pipeline network that connects the berth to the ancillary factories. Krishnapatnam Port was able to handle high volumes in such a short period of time due to its inbuilt efficient processes, which allows for higher productivity performance and quicker turnarounds.
In Krishnapatnam Port, shippers, liners, all these traders, they don't lose a single kilogram of their cargo. Now, that is a big advantage. So to do that, we started a model called single window system. So we will take everything into our control, like it could be the unloading and the stocking and the loading onto the train and customs clearance, everything will be handled by our people. That is the biggest advantage for any trader, any customer, to come here and just talk to one guy and tell and finish his transaction.
The port benefits not only from industries in the vicinity, but also the people who live in the region. Coming up next, Krishnapatnam Port's corporate social responsibility initiatives that make the local community a partner in sustainable development. This is the story of Krishnapatnam Port, which is fast becoming the largest port on the horizon of the east coast of India and plays a significant role in the economic development of the region. An all-weather port, Krishnapatnam is active throughout the year. The port manages to maintain its high productivity and round-the-clock functioning, all thanks to the 10,000 people working here. Workers at Krishnapatnam Port have come from 18 different states across the country. But over 60% of the workforce are from the area around the port. However, this relationship with the local community was not always congenial. During its formative years, when work had just begun at the port, an incident occurred where the MD, C. Sasidhar, was confronted with a group of angry fishermen.
I got up very early, got up 6 o'clock, I came out. There was a small boat which can cross me around to the next village where most of the people came from that village. I went to the village, people all gathered. And then I said, see, yesterday you all came, and then you were saying, so no, from today I wanted to be directly with you. I wanted to hear your problem. I wanted to address all by myself. So I don't want you to make anybody representative, no representation. Please come directly to my office and ask what you want, it will be done. And then immediately I started CVR Foundation.
The CVR Foundation aims to maintain a symbiotic relationship between the port and the people who work here and live in the area. When the port was under development, nearly 90% of the workforce was from the local community.
When the port was getting established in the process, the members of our board, which essentially meant our chairman, Mr. C. Vishweshwar Rao Garu, he had realized unless and until we bring on the entire population, which is depending on the sea, on us, which essentially means if we make them partners in the process of building the port, eventually these very strong partners will become stronger force within the growth, in the process of the growth and development of the port.
Within the port, housing and food are two key areas in which the CVR Foundation services the people. The CVR complex is residential accommodation for 3,400 people, all of whom are port employees. It also houses the central kitchen, which cooks food for everyone working in the port. That is almost 15,000 meals cooked every day. About 200 people are employed in the kitchen, of which 80% of the workers are women from the neighboring villages. Besides being a part of the housekeeping team at the port, the CVR Foundation also provides skills training to women. At a fashion-cum-stitching school, they are trained to stitch uniforms for the personnel at the port. Another skills initiative taken up by the port is security. Around 400 men have been trained at the Security Training Academy. The CVR Foundation also provides vocational training, making people employable even beyond the port, fostering sustainable growth. Nearly all the people who live in the area are directly or indirectly working for the port. As employees, contractors or laborers.
నా పేరు ఎల్లంగారు వెంకటేశ్వర్లు. పోర్టు రాకముందు మేము మధ్యస్థితిగా జీవనం సాగిస్తున్నాము చేపల వేట చేసుకొని. దానికి ఇప్పుడు పోర్టు వస్తుందనేసరికి మాకు కొంచెం సంతోషం వేసింది. వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఇక్కడ మాకున్న ల్యాండ్స్ పెరగడం కానీ, వచ్చే పిల్లకాయలు నిరుద్యోగులకు ఉద్యోగాలు కల్పిస్తారని కానీ, మరియు కాంట్రాక్ట్ ఇస్తారని అందరికీ ఆశించుకొని ఆ టైంలో పోర్టు వస్తే బాగుంటుందని చెప్పేసి మేము సంతోషపడతాం. కృష్ణపట్నం పోర్టులో రాకముందు మా గ్రామం కృష్ణపట్నం పోర్టులో అడ్మిట్ బిల్డింగ్ దగ్గర ఉంది మా గ్రామం. అక్కడ మా పోర్టు డెవలప్మెంట్ వల్ల మా గ్రామాన్ని తరలించబడింది ముత్తుకూరుకి ఇక్కడగా. అక్కడి నుంచి తరలించేటప్పుడు మాకు అన్ని పనులు కల్పిస్తామని చెప్పేసి మాకు చాలా నిర్ణయాలు జరిగినాయి. దాని ద్వారా ఇల్లులు కట్టేయడం, ప్యాకేజీలు ఇవ్వడం, అట్లాగా కాంట్రాక్టులు ఇవ్వడం, చాలామంది జాబులు చేసుకోవడం, అట్లాగా డెవలప్మెంట్ అవుతా ఉంది. ఇంకా 5 సంవత్సరాల్లో ఇంకా స్థాయిలో పెరుగుతామని మా నమ్మకం ఉంది. పోర్టును నమ్ముకున్నాం కాబట్టి దాని ద్వారా అన్నీ గడిచిపోతున్నాయి మాకు.
Venkateswarlu is a resident of the resettlement and rehabilitation colony situated 8 kilometers from the port. RR colony was a residential colony for the displaced fishing villages that existed in the area. In association with the Andhra Pradesh government, the CVR Foundation built about 700 houses, which provides housing to about 3,000 people. It has a school up to the 7th grade for the local kids. A hospital, which is the primary healthcare provider for the local communities. The next phase of development will propel Krishnapatnam Port into an even bigger league.
Proclaimed long ago, we have become the home for the kids.
We are looking at making this port as the best port and the biggest port in India, not only in India, one of the biggest ports in the world, not only in terms of size, in terms of efficiencies. So we are looking at a port with 42 berths and port which can handle up to 250 million tons of cargo and 6 million TEUs. Currently the biggest port in India handles probably 100 million tons.
To make this possible, Krishnapatnam Port is already in expansion mode. Building brand new berths, adding storage space, and investing in mechanized processes for smoother operations and faster evacuation of cargo.
I'm looking at a fantastic economy developed around the port, and a city develops here. Government has already announced Krishnapatnam Smart City, and that will happen. My dream to see the smart city coming up.
Along with the smart city, another development in the future is a special economic zone centered around the port. The future for Krishnapatnam Port sees it going from strength to strength.
The way we are growing, and we are looking at something like every year about 35 to 40% growth. When we are growing, all these revenues are also growing for the government, and that's how the revenues and the economy is improving. And also economy around Krishnapatnam Port is grown up like anything. So many industries are coming up, so much of employment. This is what we came here and we developed it and we added to this economy.
With all these plans of expansion on the burner, Krishnapatnam Port is aiming to become India's largest port by 2020 with a capacity of 200 million metric tons of cargo per annum. A port of the future, Krishnapatnam Port is redefining India's maritime landscape.